Yes guys, welcome back to another video. First things first, I'm really sorry for the lack of uploading. I have been incredibly busy and I've been trying to get this video sorted for you guys, but it's taken me quite a while to get everything taken off, put back together, put back on the car and fit it in between work as well. So I'm here, it's finished, and yeah, basically today what we're going to be doing, I noticed a few handling issues, a bit of instability sort of on braking and some cornering issues as well, and I didn't really know what it was, but what I did want to do to the car anyway was I wanted to polybush it. So what I did is I got the Powerflex Polybushing kit, got the two bushings in the front wishbone and the one for the rear torsion beam as well. I've actually only done the ones on the wishbones. I will do the torsion beam at some point in the future, but I just wanted to get this bit filmed for you guys, kind of show you how you do it and also the effect it has when driving on the road. So let's get right into it. So if you want to remove your wishbones on your MQB platform car, all you're going to need to do is get the two bolts out the back of the wishbone and the three nuts off the front on the ball joint. The bolts at the back are 18mm, one has a nut on the top, that's the one on the back, and then the nuts on the ball joint are 16mm. So guys, after a lot of wrestling, I've got the passenger side wishbone out of the car. It's a bit of a faff on that side because you've got to jack the gearbox up or drop the subframe. So I went for the gearbox option. And here we are, one subframe. So worth noting, on the other side, this bushing was absolutely shot. And I have noticed some handling issues, and I do think it was actually down to that. So that was really not in a good way. It was actually completely away from this shim. The rubber had become unbonded, but this one's in better shape to say the least. But it's going to make it a lot more difficult to get out now because I'm going to have to kind of molest the rubber and then cut the shim out. And then drill this one and hammer it out. But yeah, I'm going to start filming that now for you guys. So before you put the new ones in like I am doing here guys, you do want to clean that ball really well with some sandpaper or like a drill bit attachment, whatever you can find. Just make sure you get rid of any sort of imperfections in the metal so that when you do put your new polyurethane bit in, it won't break down over time from rubbing on those imperfections. But yeah, use your supplied grease that they give you with the bushings to put on the inside of the bushing, not on the outside. Before you slide in your metal piece in the middle like I am doing in this video. Now, when it comes to getting the bigger of the bushes into the new shim that you've installed, you do want to get a bit of washing up liquid just to help it slide in there. It's not going to affect it over time, it's just going to act as a lubricant, and then you'll be able to get it in, preferably with a vise or a press if you do have access to that. But once it's in, if you put your wishbone back into the vise and then hit the bushing with a hammer, it will pop through, really satisfying, probably the best part of the job. Everything else was a bit of a pain, I won't lie. Now same again guys, use some grease on the inside of the bushing and on the metal piece as well, and then push it in and you are ready to put your brand new Polybush wishbone back in your car. So guys, I'm just in the process of putting everything back together. You can see just back there we've got our Powerflex bushings looking very nice and new. I did have a massive issue getting this bolt in, it just was not lining up. I was trying to do that last night in the pitch black, so I ended up just sort of giving that a rest and trying it again today. Ignore the hair, I am I just got straight to it this morning. So yeah, basically, when you've got those in, what you want to do is basically torque them up. So when you're doing these bolts, you've essentially got to torque them up while the car's at ride height. So if you get a jack underneath your wishbone here and just sort of jack it up to sort of simulate the wheel being at ride height in the right amount of load, and then you can torque them up. So and these two bigger bolts at the back, that one obviously has a nut as well at the top, which you can just see. They're both 70 plus 180 degrees, 70 newton meters plus 180. So basically, to actually get this wishbone out in the first place, I'll show you this side because it's the harder side, you've got to basically get the gearbox out the way, which is a nightmare. So you can either jack it up, which is what I did. So what I had to do is remove the airbox, remove this battery terminal, remove the ECU sort of bracket, and then you can get to the 4 bolts that hold the gearbox to the actual chassis of the car, not the bolts that attach to the gearbox. You don't need to mess with those. But basically, when you get those out, I keep saying basically, I need a bigger freaking vocabulary. When those bolts are out, you can jack the gearbox up again with a bit of wood between your jack and the gearbox so you don't damage anything, and then it will give you the clearance to get those bolts out. The gearbox also needs to be jacked up when you're torquing that bolt up, because you won't be able to fit a socket in, so keep it jacked up for that. But yeah, overall, not too bad of an install. I did kind of want to shoot myself in the face a few times, I won't lie. But yeah, went okay. With a vise, way easier. You can not hammer these in, you can not hammer those shims, and you've got to use a vise or a hydraulic press, but I went with the vise option because I had access to that. But yeah, I've actually had the other side done for about 2 weeks maybe, and I could notice a bit of a difference. I'm really excited to get out for a drive with the other side done as well. I feel like it's really going to sharpen everything up. I've also got the Powerflex bushings for the rear arm here as well. So basically the ones that go into this bit here. But to do these, I've got to take, there's bolts here and at the back over there as well. You need to drop those so that you can take this bolt out, which means you can drop this, but then you've also got to disconnect your brake lines. So it's a bit of a faff, and I've had enough. I just really can't be arsed anymore. So I've actually got a polybush front end of a car, which is cool. It's proper, like, proper car stuff, you know, no fucking rubber bollock. I'm actually glad I did it though, to see the one on the other side. I think I already mentioned this was absolutely kaput, so this should help it a lot. So guys, that does wrap up today's video. Thank you very much for watching. I'm going to be doing the rear torsion beam ones very soon, so I will film that for you guys. And I'm also going to be adding some camber to the Polo. These MQB cars are very square up front and not great for cornering, so adding a bit of camber really does help with that. Just kind of give you a little shot of what I'm talking about. So I did add some 11mm spacers to the car, but it started rubbing up here, as you can see, pretty badly. So I'm going to need another arch liner. I'm hoping a bit of camber on the front and then maybe the spacer as well will get flush fitment and better handling overall. And then it might tie in better with the 13mm spacer I've got on the back, but we'll see how it looks when it's all finished. But yeah, that video will be getting done quite soon. But I did hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please leave a like and a comment down below. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel to see more future uploads. Cheers guys, I'll see you next time. I know I said I'd give a bit of a review of the bushings guys, but what I'm going to do is wait until my camber top mounts arrive, get those on the car and then get it aligned, because I've realised it really needs an alignment after doing the work that I have done. But I will get that video out as quick as possible.